Gentlemen, welcome back to the Festus Fantasy Football Forum on the Fantasy Jacks podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. If you're on the podcast version, we got a great episode for you guys this week. Week 13, man. 2 weeks left in the regular season, and there are so many, and I mean so many, 6-6 teams going into this final 2-week stretch. It is literally do or die for pretty much everyone in the league but two people. One person, as we know, Mez, clinched a playoff spot last week. He's all good. An update on his storylines and narratives for the season. And then recently, Tyler, I believe, has clinched a playoff berth for the first time in 3 years. Congratulations to you. We're going to get into all of that with the recaps, previews, power rankings, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get right into the Week 12 matchup reviews. Let's start off here with the biggest scoring game of the weekend. The 08 Lions taking down the Guardians of your mom's house, 147-105. Guys, this is the Guardians' first loss of the season. That was not a You Fucked Up award, and I am so thankful for that. Because golly, I've been terrible manager this year. But the 08 Lions, credit to him. Saquon Barkley is insane. Carried him to this victory. Jahmyr Gibbs also looking to be insane. Jonnu Smith, potential waiver wire ad of the year nominee for sure. Potential winner there. Look, you had CMC go for only 8 points, and you got away with 150 points. Now, obviously, Saquon's not going to go for 40. However, I don't think it's crazy to say that there is someone on this team, whether it be Saquon, CMC, Jahmyr Gibbs, hell, Mike Evans or DK, that could get you 30, 35, 40 points every single week. So this is really encouraging to see. The 08 Lions are looking very scary in the league right now. Let's go to killer off-season winning for a second straight week, maybe third straight week actually. He took down Team DD 148.4 to 101.46. The second straight loss for Team DD since trading for Derrick Henry. And he has been missing those wide receivers on Dom's team. Listen, Javonte Williams in the flex has been terrible. Christian Watson in the flex was terrible. Bucky Irving and Nico are great, and Derrick Henry will be great. But just another off week for Team Didi. Still has not seen that full potential, I believe, out of that squad. Now 6-6, and that East Division is looking terrible. But killer offseason, one of the best stories of the season so far. He has climbed his way all the way back to playoff contention, wildcard contention for sure. Let's go to Jaxie Pad taking down Bear down 87.06 to 77.86. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how it happens. But anytime Chris plays Brock, if for some reason he's just got his number and Brock cannot seem to get over that hump. Trey McBride with an absolutely amazing game, but Dylan Laube, well, Laube damned because that shit sucked. 0 points. I'd start Roshan, especially considering you did not have to play Adonai Mitchell. You could have played someone on the waiver wire. I mean, there was tons of guys available to you. So for that reason, I want to be giving you a You Fucked Up award, Mr. Lambert. Unfortunately, just mismanagement, I believe. I mean, it was less than 10 points. Could have got it with Roshan playing and then someone other than Adonai Mitchell playing. So this is kind of on you. You know, we're playing the waiver wire game here when it comes to these You Fucked Up awards because the waiver wire, it's especially when you have a guy that's projected 4.7 and the guy that's projected 6.6, you could have easily filled those holes on the waiver wire. I mean, granted, too, you didn't play Jonathan Brooks or Raheem Mostert finally, which is great, but still, you fucked up, Brock. You fucked up. Own it. Very low scoring game, though. Let's go on now to Off to Grandma, gentlemen. Off to Grandma. Finally doesn't lose. No one's beating Off to Grandma. It is 127.88 to 80.32. Took down Tony's squad. We are shit. Tony's team did not have a good performance at all. Brian Robinson potentially injured as well. That's something to heavily monitor. But this was, I think, the last chance for Tony's team to have a chance at the playoffs. He had to win out. And what was a turmoil, lackluster season for AJ has now potentially shown some life in a 127-point performance, especially with the depth that he has with Jerry Jeudy and Darnell Mooney on the bench. I'm very happy for him. He does not break the longest losing streak record. He merely comes in within one. So I'll pull it up on the screen in the later part of the episode. But yes, he is now second place with 7 straight losses for the most losses consecutively in Festus fantasy history. Let's go to the Dogs took down Can't Chubcheck this weekend, 89.42 to 86.88. And the Dogs are now on a respectable 6-game winning streak, and Can't Chubcheck does not end up breaking Ty's win record from 2 years ago. He nearly tied it, and it came down to Quentin Johnston, who is terrible at the sport of football. He cannot catch a ball, and it's very disheartening. Mez, and I'm going to give you a You Fucked Up award for starting him over guys like Romeo Dobbs. Is it ticky-tacky? 100%. Would I have played them over Quentin Johnson? No, not at all. But it's within the parameters of the award, and if you had played Romeo Dobbs, who had a similar projection total, you would have won this week. You would have the all-time win streak record. You'd be at 11 wins. And you can still break the all-time season win record, but no more win streak record. I guess Ty now, technically speaking, could go for the win streak record himself now, or at least tie his own record, going to finish off with 10 straight wins. It's very doable. We'll see how that happens. A great play here from Ty, and I mean, getting Matthew Stafford, I have to put in here. I mean, that's a play of the week. You know, there's a lot of guys on the waiver wire. And Ty, you know, he played it right. His whole team was out on bye. He was not supposed to win this week. He really was not. And he comes away with a victory. It was a great play by Matthew Stafford. I did not expect Matthew Stafford to win him this week by any means. I thought he'd have a terrible week. He ends up scoring 20 points for him on a 12-point projection total. Tyler knew something that no one else did, including myself. I would never have played him. But very well done there. Listen, this is something honestly special, okay? I remember this of myself last year. Everything is just going Tyler's way when it comes down to these close matchups, okay? It was a 25-point game between these two managers, and Mez had Lamar and QJ to play on Monday Night Football. He should have won this game. It goes Tyler's way, though. There's been multiple times this season where he's been able to hold off people on Monday nights, on Sunday nights, and that's what champions have go for them. That's just the truth. It's just a luck thing, to be fair, but credit to Tyler. He played Matthew Stafford. If he played pretty much any other quarterback, he would have lost this week. So very well done by him. And let's go to the primetime game. Hey, thank you to Mar, taking down Breeze's backpack 114.66 to 113.08. Probably the second or third closest matchup of the season thus far. And it was, again, a great primetime showing. Thank you to Mar. Now 6-6. Breeze's backpack now 6-6. These two managers are going the complete opposite directions. J. Gill was once 6-3. I think Thank You to Mar was once 3-6. So very impressed with Dom's performance of recent. His trades that he's made, trading Derrick Henry, trading George Pickens, it's overall been a success for this team. Now, granted, his ceiling is still 115 to 120 points, I believe. Maybe 130, actually. I mean, that's not to be rude or anything, because he beat me. His last few wins have been with really low opponent scores. That's the concern if I'm Dom. And as for Jay Gill, it's been a big concern. Again, another, I think 3 or 4 straight losses here, and the team is not clicking whatsoever. Granted, your whole, Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall were out on bye, so it's okay. You get somewhat of a pass there, but your team didn't play terrible by any means. There's only 3 other teams that you would have lost to this weekend. So, take that for what you will. Being now tied with Judson, however, in your own division, there's so many 6-6 teams, it's going to come down to points for. It's going to be scary for a lot of teams trying to hobble to the finish line, including myself. So that was the matchup 12 reviews. Let's get into the matchup previews for week 13. Guys, last week I went 2-4, not doing so good this season, if I have to be 100% honest. 33-39 on the season. However, one good week can turn that all the way around. And that's what we're going to try and do. I haven't had any 6-0 weeks this week. I think I had 1 or 2 last year. But let's get started, guys. With the first matchup, I want to go to the 08 Lions and Brees's backpack. This will be for sure a fireworks game. You have the 08 Lions firing on all cylinders, and you have Brees's backpack needing to rebound, if we're being honest. As of now, everyone is healthy, not on bye, because there are no bye weeks this week. So he gets Brees Hall back, he gets Garrett Wilson back, and for the 08 Lions, everyone obviously is ready to go. No injuries this past weekend, which is great for him. And if anything, David Montgomery on the Lions potentially got banged up, so that means even bigger of a workload for Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't really see any way or possibility that Jay Gill wins this game. I'm just being honest. I don't see how Collins team can lose now with the arrival of CMC, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, all 30 plus point guys potentially, on top of DK and Mike Evans doing their thing. So I got Colin winning this one. Let's go to Killer Off Season taking on the Dogs. Right now, Killer Off Season, when I'm recording this, J.K. Dobbins is out, but he did pick up Gus Edwards on the waiver wire. That's a fantastic move. Great job, Judson, there for being alert on your team of what you need. So he's going to slide right into J.K. Dobbins' spot. No big deal at all there. It's going to be about a 10-point projection disparity. But the Dogs are coming in fully healthy. Killer offseason minus J.K. Dobbins is fully healthy. Watch the flex plays this week. Brian Thomas and Rico Dowdle versus Keenan Allen, Jacoby Myers. It could very well come down to those two positions because, as we've seen, Killer offseason is scoring lights out these past few weeks. And, of course, Tyler is 8-4. We know the power of this team. But a bounce back week for sure is in the loom for the Dogs. I don't know how this game could go. I really could go either way. I'm going to pick Tyler to win this game. Let's go to a kind of a boring game. No one's going to be really paying attention to this one. And it's Can't Chub Check taking on Chris's team. A huge points per game disparity, and that's because Austin Eckler and Cedric Tillman are more than likely not going to be playing. The truth is, Chris gave up on the season. We all know it. If you have Chris at this late of the season, then you get a free win, basically. Except Brock for some reason. Mez, 10-2, didn't break the record, tied it though. Looking to bounce back. Terrible week. All right, the lowest points he scored all year. I think 87 was the number. And although he has Jake Ferguson injured, his team is pretty much good to go. David Montgomery is a big concern. He says he's fine. I don't imagine they'd play him because they don't need to win this game at all. Starts Kenneth Walker into that running back 2 spot, and then Vele or Westbrook Akine goes into that last flex. That's my guess, and it's still going to be more than enough to take down Chris's team. Chris's team is just not good. Josh Jacobs is good, but Tyreek Hill isn't, and Jaden Reed isn't. And, now you have 2 flexes that aren't playing. Jared Goff is hit or miss, and DeAndre Swift is losing touches, especially against a tough Detroit defense. Don't expect anything good to happen there. Let's go to Bear Down, taking on off to Grandma. Battle of the 5 and 7 teams. This actually could be a really, really big game for both managers because if you win this week, you have to win next week to make the playoffs for sure. But if you lose, you are essentially out of the playoffs. So I'm really excited about this one. Off to Grandma looks pretty good, as they have this whole season. Besides the one A.J. Brown injury, they have not faced injuries. They've been ready to go. With this team, though, you now have the controversy of who do you play at flexes? And JSN, Darnell Mooney, Jerry Jeudy, and DJ Moore. I think those are all fantastic flex players. Nonetheless, though, you traded for Evan Ingram, still not in your starting lineup. I don't know why. And when you look at Bear Down, look, the season is hanging on by a thread. You got to get Dylan Laube out of your fucking lineup. You got to get Adonai Mitchell out of your fucking lineup. Drake London's going to be in there. I'm sure Devontae Smith may be coming back. I'm hoping for you. Roshan Johnson, at this point, just play him. He's at least he gets snaps. Dylan Laube doesn't even get snaps. And he's white as a running back. Only one guy can do that. Just saying. Only one. But you have like fucking 48 white guys on your team. So maybe that's just what you're going for. Who do I have winning this game? You guys won't believe me when I say this, but once he makes the appropriate switches, taking out Dylan Laube, putting in Drake London, putting in Devontae Smith, I'm actually going to go with Brock as my upset pick of the week. I think he's got fantastic matchups. Baker against Carolina, Jonathan Taylor against New England, Tank Adele against Jacksonville, Ladd McConkey against Atlanta, Trey McBride against Minnesota. I think he's going to have a fantastic game this week. And it's going to be something that we have not seen from Bear Down in it feels like forever. So this is going to be the game to make it all on the line for week 17, week 14, technically. Final Sunday slate of games here. Guardians of your mom's house taking on We Are Shit. Guardians 6-6, Tony 4-8. 4-8 is, I think, out of the playoffs. And 6-6, look, you gotta win every game here from here on out if you're the Guardians, because the Dogs already have 8 wins. They're probably gonna win the division for sure, but you need to get at least a good playoff ranking at the very least. The points for is there, so don't stress too much. All I really need is one win, but I'm not going to take any game lightly because this team beat me earlier on this season. When I look at Tony's team, Brian Robinson's probably not going to play because of that injury from last week and the bye week next week for the Commanders. There's no real reason to play him this week, so he's probably not going to be playing. Taysom Hill gets the start for the Guardians. Love that. Another big point projection week for the Guardians. It doesn't really fucking matter though. But here's the big question, and here's the big thing that I've noticed is that Tony has a really big points projection for, I think, the first time all season. It's his most points projected, I think, all year, which is intimidating for sure. I mean, Bo Nix has been playing great. Puka's been playing great. Marvin Harrison's bound to play great at some point, right? Rashad White's been playing great. He's going to have a great game, I think. And then you have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on opposite ends. I'm going to still pick Jackson, the Guardians, to win this game. And man, if Tony could win this one, this would be an all-time upset. You know, for 2 straight times this season, it would be an all-time upset. Let's go to the primetime game. Thank you tomorrow, taking on Team Didi. I think the most important game of the week. For sure, 2 6-6 teams. 2 teams fighting for wild card spots because I guess Dom's kind of fighting for his division too, but we all know Colin's going to win that division. So this is for the wild card spots, in my opinion. And you have a 124-point projection to a 114-point projection. Everyone is pretty much ready to go. This one's going to be a really fun game because I think Team Didi has the superstar power to have 3 guys score 30 points, right? Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, and Nico, and I guess Brock, but he's not going to this game. But for sure, Nico, James Cook, Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, any of those guys can score 20-plus points. This team can fall short. And the difference with Thank You Tomorrow is that everyone on this team is a PPR guy. So this is going to be a really, really fun game to watch. My official pick for this game is going to be, you guys see it's a 10-point projection disparity. I'm going to go with Austin to cover a 9.5-point spread. So I think he's going to win by 10 or more points for sure. Great matchups for Jalen Hurts and James Cook, Nico Collins, even DeAndre Hopkins. I think he can get going this week for sure. Juwan Jennings, Bucky Irving. It's going to be a fun one. Look, don't expect great things from Brock Bowers or Derrick Henry for sure. There are great matchups on both ends, but I think when you look at the matchups and you look at the players, the personnel for Team Didi and Thank You Tomorrow, I think Team Didi clears. So I have Team Didi winning and covering the 9.5-point spread. I'll go through my picks one more time, and then we'll get on to the power rankings. I got Jackson winning, Colin winning, Tyler winning, Mez winning, and then for my upset pick of the week, coming back for this one, I have Brock winning, and for the primetime, I have Austin covering a 9.5-point spread as the favorite. All right, let's get into the power rankings. Going to be a little bit quicker this week because it is a holiday weekend, and I already actually did them, and they fucked up, so we're going to redo it. Here we go, guys. Week 13 power rankings. As I mentioned in the last segment, I already recorded this, and it completely messed up. So I have to redo it. And so for that reason, I'm not going to ramble as much, not going to go into as much depth on some of the lower teams. Maybe if there's something that I want to touch on, for sure I will. But I think at this point, we all know the good and bad teams. The only analysis that I can really give is maybe rest of season schedule, maybe his bye weeks, maybe his points for, points against, stuff of that nature. With that being said, here we go. Week 13 power rankings. At number 12. No surprise here, we are shit still at number 12. I wouldn't be surprised if next week if it was Jaxie Pad at number 12. But I have Tony's team here just because we are shit. At number 11, I have Chris's team. Again, same deal. I think these two could flip-flop, and I probably will do that next week. I'll see who scores more points this week, and then I'll flip it for that reason. Number 10, here's the big first change of the episode, and I have Bear Down coming in at number 10 because, honestly, I just don't like the team. I don't like the running back situation, and I don't like the receiver situation in terms of injuries. It's a lot he's had to face this year. It's not his fault. It's unlucky. And whenever we vote on the awards, I guarantee you this guy wins most injured team. At number 9, I have off to Grandma. A big win last week propels him up a spot. If he can win out, there's a chance he makes the playoffs. There's a chance. The team's been healthy all season, besides A.J. Brown the first few weeks. But other than that, the team has been pretty much the same. When you look at week 1 to week now, it's literally the same, I think, besides Evan Ingram. At number 8, I have killer offseason. This team is one that I think I can move up for sure next week if he gets another win, because his points for it's right on that little like midline, and the wins in the division where Brace's backpack is falling apart, he can for sure take over that wild card spot. Man, it is going to be so awesome to watch this team and watch these narratives next week, because it's going to be literally do or die. At number 7, I have Breece's backpack, because it's just going the wrong direction, now falling out of the playoff picture, I think, because, I mean, look, no wins in the past, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. His team is losing game script. He's losing game planning because Kareem Hunt's losing his job. Xavier Worthy has lost his job pretty much because of D-Hop and Juju coming back. I don't know where the light at the end of the tunnel is for this team. Maybe Xavier Legette, actually. He's getting some pretty good work, and running the 2 tight ends is the best chance here. Number 6, moving into the playoff picture, I have Thank You Damar. A lot of big wins in past weeks. Not lighting up the scoreboard by any means, but a consistent 110 to 115, maybe 120 points per week, and that is just enough to do it sometimes. He's been getting lucky with the matchups, he's been getting lucky with the schedule, and he's taking advantage of it. So good for him. He's going to go into that 6th spot, I think. I think needs to win one more week. Number 5, I have the Guardians. Falling apart of recent weeks. The first losing streak of the season, now 2 straight losses. We knew we were going to lose last week. We knew it. Okay, most points allowed in the league now. Second most points for. It's the typical, Guardians formula. Just give up the most amount of points and score a lot too, I guess. But give up the most amount of points is the formula for this team. It sucks. It's been this way for, I think, the last 4 years. I know I got some records for that. I think it needs some luck to go my way. 6-6, I need to win at least one more game because I have the points for to get me into a tiebreaker scenario. So I just need to win one more game. At number 4, Team Didi, because I like that Pacheco is coming back. Now, I want you to remember this. Just because Pacheco is coming back does not mean Pacheco is going to be good. Pacheco literally broke the fuck out of his foot. He broke something in his foot. No one is going to come back, especially as a professional athlete, in the same season 100% healthy, ready to go. On top of that, there's really no reason for the Chiefs to rush him back, to give him a huge workload, because they don't need him. They're 10-1. They just save him for the playoffs. So it might be smart to pivot away from him in some weeks, especially because it's going to be a high projection from ESPN, and it's going to lull you into a false sense of security when playing him. Just my 2 cents. Number 3, the 08 Lions, the new division leader, the new 3 seed in the league. Congrats to him. Hella points for, hella points allowed. That's the story of the 08 Lions. Look, they're the Miami Dolphins of Festus Fantasy, A lot of offensive success, but as of, the history, no playoff success. I think this year, Team Doyle, Colin Doyle, the 08 Lions, they look to change that. They have a playoff-ready roster with 3 of the best running backs in the league, 2 solid wide receivers, and Justin Herbert, who I think is the main difference. Look for the 08 Lions to make some noise in the playoffs. Number 2, I have the Dogs, the number 2 seed in the league, on a 6-game winning streak. Very, very impressive. This team was 2-4 at one point, and that's the crazy part about fantasy football, is that you can just rattle off wins. I mean, granted, he's had a lot of things go his way, a lot of luck go his way. And here's the thing about luck. That's what every champion needs. Every champion has to have these games go their way. And they are for Tyler this year. That's not saying that it's going to run out. I'm saying that everything's just going his way. Even when he's not putting up huge performances, even when he's not, in a high-scoring matchup, he's getting the job done, and that's what champions have happened to them in a season. Number 1, no surprise here, Can't Chubb check. Maybe a little bit concerning after scoring 87 points last week and David Montgomery potentially being injured. Your team was the powerhouse team the whole season, and we all know the narratives of powerhouse teams. They typically fall short in winning championships It's happened almost every single year. Tyler's team a few years ago, Brock's team a couple years ago, my team 2 years ago. If you want to say my team was a powerhouse team last year, fine, but I don't think there was a powerhouse team last year. So when you look at a powerhouse team like Mez has, it's surely lining up with Tyler and Brock and myself from years ago. So just something to monitor there. Besides that, though, great season by Mez. He's going for the wins record. He can still get 12 wins, which would be the record, or tie the record, I believe. Something to play for. With that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, text in the chat. Have a safe Thanksgiving. Have a good Thanksgiving. Good luck to everybody this week except Tony. Go fuck yourself, even though I'm thanking you for your service, sir. All right, I'll see you guys.